Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the BOCC meeting. Today's date is Thursday, March 6th. The time is 9 o'clock. We will call this meeting to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Perry, would you please lead us? Ed, you want to lead us?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We will take attendance beginning with Ms. Mitchell,
Cynthia Mitchell, County Attorney.
Paula McFeeters.
Zach Swearingen.
Miles Lucero.
Queen Geneseo, County Manager.
Thank you to everybody else in attendance. Are there any why am I drawing a blank? Modifications, that's a word. It's too early. To today's agenda,
There are none.
I'll ask for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. That brings us to our regular items.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. The first two items on our agenda are to approve secure transportation service licenses and vehicle permits for two different companies. One is AAA Secure Ride LLC, and the other is the Metro One Ambulance LLC. And these are pursuant to the Pueblo County policy and procedures regarding secure transportation services. So as I know Commissioner Swearingen knows, the other two, the state did mandate that counties start licensing secure transportation services, and these are for people who are experiencing a mental health or behavioral health crisis. They need to have special accommodations in their vehicles and training, and the county attorney's office has vetted the applications from these two companies and determined that they fulfilled all the requirements, and they are quite lengthy. They need specific insurance policies, and they need to provide proof of training and their own internal policies. And I guess it's possible that the person that is on the call now might be from one of these entities.
Please open that for item.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, if anybody is here from AAA Secure Ride or the Metro One Ambulance. All right, if you just want to make a statement to the board about your services.
Sure. All right. So we are a licensed ground ambulance company already in the state of Colorado.
Sir, can you just state your name just for the record?
Kevin Sandoval, Metro One Ambulance, yeah. And in order for us to bill certain types of insurances for behavioral health, secure vehicle transportations, the state is requiring licenses by counties and permits in order for us to bill certain insurances like Medicaid in particular, right? So we actually are already, with our ground ambulance license, we're already able to do secure vehicle transports. You know, it's just one of those things where in order for our company to bill certain patients that we transport, we need a license from the different counties that we originate trips in.
So is this agreement issuing that specific license? Like, do you guys already operate here?
We do, yes.
Okay, so this is just like a licensure over and above for these specific scenarios, like a mental crisis scenario. Is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, so we're already in the state's system as far as Medicaid goes, but in order for us to, so we're under a ground ambulance license. This is a different specialty type, secure vehicle transports. So it's almost two separate divisions that are running these types of transports through the state. So in order for us to bill for them, even though we already do behavioral health transports throughout the state, we're licensed. In order for us to bill for them to, like I said, to different insurances, we do need to have that license and go through an application process for that as well.
Understood. So these calls would come into our dispatch, and then based on the type of call, that's the type of vehicle that gets sent out? Is that?
So We don't actually operate as a 911 ambulance company.
Okay.
We do more interfacility transfers, hospice care, things like that.
Okay.
So although it is an ambulance and we have the capabilities of doing that, that's a whole different license and things
Okay.
like that that we would need to get approved by. This is more for private contracts that we would be doing. A lot of these patients that we would be transporting are Medicaid patients. So unless we could bill for them, it wouldn't make sense for us to go after those private contracts that we would get. So
Okay.
It's similar to like the med ride and
similar to that, I mean, they don't do secure vehicle, you know, that, I mean, these are definitely people that are in some sort of behavioral crisis. So these would be a lot of interfacilities from the hospitals, so like UC Health to different behavioral health facilities throughout the state.
in the sense of just being private though. I mean,
Yeah, we are considered a private ambulance company, so,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have any specific questions, but thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
appreciate that. And I'm good as well. So are you representing both AAA Secure Ride and Metro One Ambulance?
Just Metro One.
And Cynthia, these contracts are the same. I mean, it's not the contracts, but
Yes,
the
it's a
licenses that we're
license
issuing. It's the same,
And
same thing.
permit, yes.
Okay.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
I'll ask for a motion to approve item 1A and 1B.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item 1C is a resolution approving the statement of work between OpenGov and Pueblo County for asset management software. And Greg George, the interim director of Public Works, will present this item.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning, sir.
Wanted to bring to you today the OpenGov contract for asset management. As you're aware or may not be aware, we have OpenGov current contract where we do all of our permitting through planning and development and public works. So as a part of that, there's a bolt-on solution that we've met with a lot of counties at APWA events across Colorado that are using the OpenGov bolt-on asset management part. And so we are wanting to present that to you today to allow us to use our permit fees. So it'll be paid for with our own internal fee structure, which we've have 2 years of history that we will cover the costs to add on asset management, which will allow us to more streamline our processes and optimize our work so that we can create databases and hotspot mapping, et cetera, for us to do our job smarter, not harder. So there is a users group in Colorado of OpenGov asset management team that we are going to partner with. And I have OpenGov here that could talk more about it if you have specific questions. But we're hoping to capitalize on the things that we've learned from other counties with asset management and OpenGov.
So it's an addition to the existing system.
Correct.
How is this customer facing at all, or is this more internal? It's more internal, correct?
I believe it could be Karina's here from OpenGov. She can talk a little bit more about the specifics.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners. Yes, so the public facing portal is we connect with the Citizens 311 system. So that's going to be where you actually capture the request from the citizens.
Okay.
And then we're pulling that in, but we can push data out. So for example, we work really closely with the city of Colorado Springs, and they're able to actually take the data from Cartograph and push that out to the public to actually show how tax dollars are being used and the impact that it's making around the community.
Okay. Is that any sort of, that's included in this package, correct? The
Yep.
ability to push that out and that information out?
That's correct.
Okay. Is that kind of where you guys are leaning, Greg, is? Okay. Yeah, I mean, we use OpenGov in a lot of different ways. So yeah, if this can be helpful and you guys have it within your budget from fees to pay for, I don't see a big issue. Go ahead.
Greg, what do you use now for asset management?
So right now we're using a system that we got about 3 years ago, but before I came on board, it's called Brightly. It was Dude Solutions, and it was kind of a startup company that we got on with. And we've had a very hard time with the reporting function of it, which for the engineers is the most important function we could get from that. So we've been struggling trying to get that to function in an effective way that will give us data. And so it's been a struggle, and we really have kind of abandoned the system.
Well, this sounds like a great solution to me. So if you are supporting that, I think that's something we should really consider. And I thank you for your additional comments about it. The more information we can get out to the public, the better.
Agreed. What's the commitment? What's the contract?
I have the pricing here. Karina will probably do it off the top of
I
her
guess
head,
just
but-
duration.
Yeah, it's
Is
a,
it-
for the
Oh.
first year, the implementation and the startup is 173,000.
Okay.
And then the annual contract from that point forward will be 155. We've been averaging around 180 to $190,000 a year in permit fee collection. So it covers our costs.
But that's not just for the asset management module. That's everything we have, or your department has going with OpenGov.
Correct.
And there's no penalty for there's no contractual obligations as far as time. I mean, if it doesn't work out, and I'm not saying it will, but if there's no penalties for pulling the plug on it, correct?
So with the contract, you would be logging in for, we did a 9-month contract to align with the fiscal year. So that way that the contract for their next year, when it would renew, would align with the 1st of January. So the first term is going to be 9 months, and then from there we'll renew for a full year. So you will be contracted to lock in for those first 9 months.
Okay, but then after that, it's every year annual
That's correct.
renewal. Okay,
Right.
cool. Yeah, if it's gonna improve efficiency and to Commissioner McFeeder's point, that transparency piece is obviously a big deal. So we trust you guys' opinion. You're the one that works with it every day. I'll
You're
ask-
here.
I'll ask for a motion to approve item 1C.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Our last item, 1D, is resolution appointing the Joint Partnership Community Services Funding Agreements for fiscal year 2025, recommended by the Community Services Advisory Commission. And Commissioners, on your resolution, there is a list of the entities that the CSAC Commission has recommended to the city and the county to approve for funding. And I believe the city has already approved these amounts.
They have. Commissioners, this is consistent with the presentation that this board received in January, I believe, and this will just allow the committee to get that final approval and then allow both the city, well, the county to proceed with the agreements and getting the funds out to these entities.
Yeah, I know. I've been asked a few times on when money's going out. And checks in the mail always doesn't cover it as far as a response. So,
My only question would be, do we pay the full amount and are we reimbursed by the city, or do we pay half and half? How does that,
Half
like the
and half.
mechanics of that?
Yeah.
Just half and half. So we'll be paying out half of the amounts that are listed here in the reso.
Well, this is the county portion.
yeah, we're
The
paying
county
this full
portion's in
amount.
the resolution, correct?
Right.
Are
Should
we
be.
sure? Because it was
Should be.
$955,000
Let me see what this
total.
I don't see a sum in here. We pay half of what the CSAC awards are. That is,
Yeah,
that
it
is
says
the
joint
contract.
allocation amount, so it's.
We would
Right.
pay half.
Would-
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good. I would just say thank you again to the CSAC, the work that they do. And thank you to these nonprofits that are assisting our community. Happy to, this is a fun thing to put money towards.
Yes. Agree.
But use the opportunity to again say that we are revitalizing CSAC because it needs some sprucing up.
It's direction
Yeah,
from
and that-
both the city and county.
And that's coming down the pike. Yeah, I'm good. I'll ask for a motion to approve item 1D.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Now the check really is in the mail.
Now the check's gonna be in the mail.
Going to be, yes. Thank you, Commissioner Peters.
Cool. Thank you. That brings us to citizen comments. Is there anyone here in the chamber for comment? If you guys want, just come up to the podium. You've got 3 minutes. Please state your name for the record and have at it.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Tamara Axworthy. Thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to speak today. I'm here to respectfully encourage this body to incorporate a formal verbal prayer at the beginning of your regular meetings, rather than simply observing a moment of silence. The practice of opening government meetings with prayer is firmly rooted in our nation's history and has been consistently upheld by the courts. In 2014, the United States Supreme Court reaffirmed this in the case of Town of Greece versus Galloway. The court held that opening government meetings with prayer, even one that is explicitly sectarian, does not violate the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. In the majority opinion, Justice Kennedy wrote that legislative prayer lends gravity to the occasion and reflects values long part of our nation's heritage. This legal precedent affirms that many of us already know, that prayer serves a vital role in public life. It acknowledges that the work of governing carries a moral weight and that those entrusted with leadership need guidance, wisdom, and discernment beyond human understanding. Corporate prayer is a way to humbly seek that wisdom together, fostering an atmosphere of unity and purpose at the outset of your work. Some might suggest that a moment of silence could serve the same purpose, but it falls short. A verbal prayer is public, participatory, and unifying. It reminds both leaders and citizens that the government serves the people, but ultimately answers to a higher standard of justice, truth, and accountability. A moment of silence, by contrast, is ambiguous and easy to dismiss. It lacks the intentionality, communal acknowledgement, and clarity that a spoken prayer provides. Importantly, offering prayer does not compel participation, nor does it impose a particular faith on anyone. As the Supreme Court recognized in Marsh v. Chambers in 1983, legislative prayer is part of the fabric of our society, serving to solemnize proceedings, not to proselytize. It creates a space for reflection, respect, and grounding, values that are increasingly needed in today's public discourse. By incorporating and including corporate verbal prayer at your meetings, the Pueblo County Commissioners have an opportunity to align with long-standing legal and cultural tradition while fostering a spirit of humility, service, and respect for the gravity of your responsibilities. I urge you to adopt this practice, and thank you so much for your time and your service to our community.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Sharon Scooty, Colorado City. I'm glad to have this opportunity to stand before you today. I have within my hands a bit of information from our archive. In addition to our founding documents of the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution, we had founders. There's a whole treasure trove. If anybody's interested in searching history, you will find out that prayer was a very integral part of the founding of the Republic. What I brought with me today, and I would like to hand this off to the commissioners for your records if it's acceptable. If not, that's fine, but I would like to put this into the record. What I brought forward today is a comment from one of the founders that most people know. Is that too loud?
No, she was just gonna grab
Oh,
the,
yes, I
the
do.
paper.
Yes, thank you so much. This is from Benjamin Franklin. It was written in June 28, 1787, and it was listed as a very important high priority for them and for the countrymen that he was associated with. I want to thank the commissioners for allowing this today, and especially Commissioner Zach Swearingen for bringing this forward so that we can have public voice on it. What Benjamin Franklin said basically to his peers is, we have come through hard times and struggles. And when we were at an impasse on making decisions, we appealed to a providential intervention and wisdom from on high. And so as he proceeded to make his case that while they had come that far because they did pray, they were really at another juncture where he even said, if a bird falls from the sky and the Lord sees it, how is it that we as people can build a nation without providential help? And he even quoted scripture from the Bible, unless the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. As commissioners, you set before Pueblo County, things will be set before you that are very important, thorny issues, and beyond your human wisdom, I just feel like prayer would offer that supreme import that will come from the Lord. So what I'm asking for, and I will close with this comment from Benjamin Franklin. He said, I therefore beg leave to move that henceforth prayers imploring the assistance of heaven and its blessings on our deliberations be held in this assembly every morning before we proceed to business, and that one or more of the clergy of the city be requested to officiate in the service. So in addition to our founding documents, we have a whole treasure trove of people that felt this exact same way. Now, unfortunately, our history has been hidden or not really properly presented to the public, and many people are misinformed about what the republic really was built on. So I would like to see us move back on that standard of acknowledging a sovereign oversight and get us off of this. What we've adopted basically is basically opinion and contemporary trends. So thank you for this opportunity this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ed Perry. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. I'm also in favor of the BOCC meetings beginning with an opening prayer. In this often chaotic, highly charged political environment where decorum, civility, and mutual respect of elected colleagues is sometimes a rare occurrence indeed, adherence to the meaning embodied in prayer may likely be the only rational and cogent solution to soften the bitter divide that permeates politics today. Support by elected officials at all levels is often strictly partisan and not in the best interest of the community at large. One of the most glaring examples of this sadly occurred at the national level during President Trump's address to Congress Tuesday evening, during which the Democrats demonstrated their hatred for President Trump more than their love for America by their juvenile behavior of waving paddles and their even more egregious refusal to stand to acknowledge and support a 13-year-old boy who had survived 13 brain surgeries. At the state level, we see the liberal left continue their partisan disregard for public safety by continuing to draft and push through legislation, tying the hands of law enforcement and making our cities less safe. Could prayerful reflection have made a difference? Maybe. Conversely, however, in this chamber, I do applaud Commissioners McFeeters and Swearingen, both Republicans who recently stood with Democratic Sheriff Dave Lucero with their votes. The founding fathers of the United States believed that prayer created an atmosphere of seriousness to their proceedings before them, to remind them of the significance of their deliberations. Both the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives begin their daily sessions with a prayer, a tradition that's been in place since the first Congress in 1789. At the Colorado Capitol, religion comes first. Prayer is the first formal activity that occurs in both the House and the Senate most mornings. Our City Council begins their meetings with prayer. The boards of county commissioners of Douglas County, Colorado Springs, Conejos County, Fremont County, Otero County, Alamosa County, to name just a few, begin their BOCC meetings with prayer. Prayer elicits things miraculous. Years ago, my sister was diagnosed with colon cancer. Family, friends, and others prayed incessantly, not only locally, but globally. When the surgeon operated, he informed family members that there was no sign of the cancer. In this chamber, an appropriate prayer could be, as we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. We seek your direction in our decision-making process. Help us to listen attentively to one another with open hearts and minds. I urge the three of you to vote in the affirmative to begin your BOCC meetings going forward with an opening prayer. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.
Good morning. Dan Nielsen, Pueblo West. I agree with the comments that have been made about prayer. I don't have any prepared comments, but I know that this is a Judeo-Christian nation. I think we're a Judeo-Christian county. And when the founders gathered together in Philadelphia, they were kind of having a problem there for a while until they started praying. And I think that there was a lot of different religions that gathered there in that setting. And so they didn't refer to their higher power as God or anything like that. They called it nature's God because that was a common ground for all of them. And so I would encourage this body to invoke the blessings of heaven on what we do here as a county. And I appreciate the things that you do. I think this would be an enhancement in our process. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Ripperger. I will read what I have sent to Commissioner Lucero, Swearigan, and to Commissioner McFeeters. Faith refers to a personal belief and trust in someone or something, excuse me. Religion is a structured system of practices, beliefs, and rituals that surround faith. Simply put, for me, religion is how I was taught to love God. No one religion is exactly the same, and no one should be forced to follow or adhere to someone else's religious practices. That includes prayer, which is a religious practice. I'm not saying prayer is bad, but it is a personal dialogue with a person's faith belief. The United States Constitution guarantees us freedom of religion, freedom to practice any of the approximately 10,000 distinct religions in the world. If you feel prayer is necessary for you before a meeting, say that prayer in your office or before coming to the meeting. I'm not suggesting that you should not pray or that prayer is bad. I talk to God all day long, but that conversation is between God and me. Respect others' faith practices. You could pray in your offices before the meeting, or you might request a few minutes of silence at the beginning of the meeting to allow those in attendance to pray to who they believe in or not to pray. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Reverend Gary Weaver, an ordained Presbyterian minister, also affiliated with Pueblo's Faith Leaders in Action. This is a nonpartisan, multicultural, and multi-faith organization committed to community organizing for the purpose of bettering our community for everybody. And that's what Faith Leaders in Action are up to. I appreciate the fact that you all were receptive to my position statement that I sent you all, and I heard back from one of you, so I appreciated that as well, Paula.
Thank you.
Let me read for public awareness my position on public prayer at a government meeting is that it dishonors the Constitution's spirit and non-religious citizens' imposition of religion upon them. In order for me to assure my religious freedoms, I must allow others freedom of no religious affiliation or belief in civil proceedings. I believe our founders of the United States Constitution intentionally separated religious preferences from matters of state to protect both religious and non-religious citizens of our republic. The only appropriate alternative I could suggest to government officials is to start their meeting with a minute of silent reflection and preparation for all assembled, ending with the presiding official saying something like, "Now let us attend to the people's business." My sense of this is that we're not talking about legal matters or even constitutional matters. We're talking about the difference between a democracy and an autocracy. That's authoritarian governance that forces upon people things that they did not choose. The issue is choice here. That's what makes America great. We give people choices to make a moral statement of something. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all kinds of freedoms, and that includes freedom of choice. If I come to this proceeding, I do not choose to hear a public prayer. That's my right to that feeling, and I would appreciate it being respected by others. Because if it offends one of us, it offends all of us in terms of justice.
Thank you. What's that? How many
Hi,
more?
my name is Tom Brunchak. I appreciate the opportunity here. I also support the opening prayer for not only here, but other government agencies. I think it's super important, especially in this economic times and how this nation has been built over the past 200 plus years. Actually, if you just look at one nation under God, just remember that as we move forward. And I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. That's pretty short, so we can do one more.
I don't really have anything prepared. It seems like things are kind of stacked for this discussion, so I thought I would add my 2 cents.
Sir, can you just state your name for the record?
My name is Robert Frederick. I'm fairly new to the Pueblo area. I pray constantly. It's a private thing. I'm not trying to convince somebody else that I'm right or they should follow my particular path. And as a taxpayer, all my life, I feel like it's a misuse of dollars and time to be advertising a particular religion over others. Obviously, this room is stacked with people that would promote one religion over the other. Doesn't make it right. There were times when proceedings were stacked with people that were in favor of slavery over the other. And just because the majority feels one way doesn't mean they should impose their advertisement or their ideas over others. This is supposed to be civil, not religious. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Regina Maestri, City Council, District 1, and I'm not here as an elected official in that capacity to even tell you what you all need to be doing in your chambers. I'm just going to say we've already heard from the constitutional side, from those who have their feelings, and what a well-educated community of constituents we have. I'm just going to tell you as an elected leader, we all know we're all experiencing the same things that are coming through legislation today that are really breaking down the morality of our community. And our hands are tied when we have to adhere to the laws and the legislation and the policies that come down. Being able to pray and open our meeting for me shows me that my community still has hope and faith that we're going to turn this around and we're going to restore our values and morality in this community as we have always known. We are suffering, we're oppressed by the policies coming out of state legislation, and it makes me feel more powerful and energized when I know that I have my faith that I can stand by and believe in, and it gives me hope that we can turn this around. And so that works for me. I don't know how it will work for you, but I think that when we start to remove prayer from our meetings, we're adding to some of that legislation that comes through and strips us of our morals and values of this community. And that's all I had to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. It is nice to have. Okay, yeah. One more. Okay. We're
Hi, my
bending the
name's-
rules here today.
My name is Chris McMahon. I'm obviously work for American Medical Response. Here to bring you guys some awareness. We're going to be having our 11th annual AMR Safety Jam, June 7th. We've had great support from council or commissioner boards in the past. We'd love for you guys to be involved again and support. I saw Sheriff Lucero here earlier. Excuse me, the Sheriff's Department, City PD, local fire departments, county fire departments come out. This last year, we had nearly 1,800 in attendance of the event. 58 exhibitors. So it's become almost an expected event for Pueblo and Pueblo County. So we'd like to invite you guys out. If you'd put it in your calendar, reach out to me. I'll leave my email. We'd love to have you greet the public. We have a ceremony. We've got, used to be DOS, CAE is doing a flyover. This last year we had 3 helicopters, and helicopters are really cool. So we have the National Guard, Colorado National Guard's participating. Flight for Life, Colorado's been a part of it since the beginning of the event in 2013. And then one of our flight divisions that's tied to UC Health will also be there. It really is a great event. So many organizations that come out and present the services that they have for Pueblo and Pueblo County citizens. We reach a lot of people of multiple demographics, multiple economic status. It's designed for everybody in the community. So again, we'd really like for you guys to participate, come out and greet the crowd, be a part of our ceremony. Just wander around and talk to people as well. It really has turned into a great event. And thank you, the Board of County Commissioners, for previous years of support, and hopefully we'll continue in the future.
What's the date, sir?
The date's June 7th.
Thank you.
It'll be at Lake Minnequa Veterans Memorial Park on the south side, just off of Pueblo Boulevard.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we'll get some, we can get some advertising for that stuff as it gets closer. Well, yeah, again, thank you to everybody else for coming for public comment. It makes a difference. I know that we all like to see as much community participation as we can have. That brings us to commissioner comments. I didn't know anybody was coming in to speak about prayer today. I know that it obviously can be a contentious issue, and as I've stated earlier, yeah, I struggled with it, and I know it's personal. But again, as I've said publicly, I think that it is a very unifying thing. And to your point, sir, it is open to all faiths. I mean, it has to be, and we want it to be as unifying as possible. We are kind of the outlier here that doesn't do it. As Counselor Maestri just said, I mean, they do it. Everybody knows that Congress, everybody does it. And that's not the reason why I brought it forward. Again, I brought it forward because I thought of it as a very unifying thing for our community. Everybody has the freedom to participate or not participate, but it can be viewed as restrictive to those people of faith to say you can't do it. And again, in our Constitution, it does not say freedom from, it says of. So take that for what it's worth. The dollars and time spent on it, it would be voluntary from people coming in and offering the prayer. And we're limiting it, or we would limit it to a very short time. So yeah, that's all I have on that. Today we have the Pueblo Means Business Advisory Council meeting. I say it every time that we have it, but it is open to the public. It is right across the street over here at the EOC building, or EOC. Is that right? Yes. What?
GSC?
No, it's over. It's at Emergency Services, whatever. It's right across the street. It's where the sheriff's office is. But again, that is a group put together that really tries to focus on the permitting process here in Pueblo County and streamlining that and making it as efficient as possible. So it's open to the public. If you have complaints about, pulling permits or anything else like that, that is a very good place to air those grievances. You can do it online too, or you can just get with myself or my staff to relay your points in that meeting. I think that is all I have today. We have the legislative, the legislative breakfast, I think, is this Saturday, right? And again, to Regina's point, we should pay attention to the state legislature and the things that come down from the state legislature. And I heard Constitution said a couple times, in my opinion, and not even my opinion, that there are some things being presented now that are unconstitutional. And people need to pay attention to that. We are a statutory county. We adhere to state statute. And legislators need to listen to their constituents, but they can only listen if you tell them. So please, please, please pay attention to what happens up in Denver because it affects us all. And there's the ability to testify. You can go up in person, which carries a little bit more weight, but they also offer the ability to testify remotely. So please pay attention. I'll get probably next week, I'll kind of give a little summary of some of the bills being presented that really affect us, and try and educate some folks on that too. So please pay attention to that. It's important. That's all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Swearingen. I would just add, this is the beginning, end of our first meeting and in the work session. Those of you that are concerned about prayer, that discussion will occur in our work session, which follows this meeting. In addition to what you've said, Commissioner Swearingen, we will have an overview about the legislation that's coming down from the state. I would encourage those of you that are here to stay to listen to these bills that are being proposed. I have great concerns with some of them being unconstitutional. And I really believe that unless you have an educated, really interested citizenry that is engaged in the debate on these things get passed that we have to live with, and we don't know why. And it's because a lot of folks are not paying attention. We on this board have to pay attention because many of these legislative changes affect how we operate as a county. And that is one of the reasons why, frankly, I ran for this office. I'm tired of being told in Pueblo County how we're going to live by a Denver legislator. So please, if you can, stay for the work session. I think it's important civic responsibility to be engaged. If you are watching online, watch it again. If you can't be physically here, we do stream this, and so it's important when we get to our work session to pay attention to that. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for everyone that came today to express your opinions. It means a lot to us to know what our community thinks. Thank you.
Good morning, folks. I want to say thank you to everybody that showed up today to speak and to engage. I wanted to make a comment and a thank you to the Department of Human Services here at the county. I had the opportunity to go over there and spend a couple hours with those folks, learn about what they do. Some excellent, excellent people working over there, some people that really care about our community. They're, if you ever walk into that building, the lobby's almost always full. I think it's a testament to the need in this community for those services. And I would just like to thank Director Torres for the professionalism of her staff. They've got a great leadership team over there. So very proud to work with those folks. I did want to mention a couple of specific statistics that were included in their annual report from last year. When it comes to Medicaid, our DHS department enrolled 65,796 average customers per month. Now there's 35 different categories of Medicaid, but you can see that's a massive, massive number. When it comes to SNAP, which is a supplemental nutrition assistance program, our DHS department helped folks apply for and receive $93 million worth of SNAP assistance last year. That's dollars that are, number one, helping folks in our community that need the help. Number two, that's $93 million being spent at our grocery stores, staying right here in our community, sales tax dollars brought right back here into our community. So, and it all comes down from the federal government. So when you hear of these grant funding freezes and potential massive, massive cuts to these social service programs, realize that these will be your neighbors affected by these things. These will be your neighbors going hungry. These will be your neighbors unable to afford health care. I think that's vitally important. So thanks to the DHS department for all that they do for our community. When it comes to the issue of prayer before meetings, I want folks to know that I have actually really changed my mind on this thing. At first, when this was presented, I thought, it's too much of a can of worms to open up. It presents too many challenges. And I was against it, quite frankly. I've changed my mind. I now want to go on the record and say explicitly, clearly, I want to pray before meetings. I want to pray before meetings. If you're home watching, here I am. I want to pray before meetings. That's why I've worked very hard on a proposal along with our legal team that is ready to go, could be signed next week, that would allow for a moment of silence before every single meeting, that allows every person behind this desk, on that side of the aisle, to reflect, to pray in their own faith tradition, to say what they need to say, for us to come together, to ask for guidance. It accomplishes all of the things that we as a board are seeking with, divine guidance, and it eliminates all of the potential alienation. It eliminates all the logistical headache of how do we sign people up? How do we get people in here? How are we dedicating staff time and website design time to intake for volunteers? My policy actually goes over and above what was discussed last week when we said we were going to just pray on Tuesdays. My policy proposes a moment of silence every single meeting. So my policy goes over and above. I really believe that it is important to take a moment to be together. It's a moment of unity. It's a moment to ask in our own way for the guidance that we need to this community. And I do genuinely believe, after hearing from folks, and I appreciate all the feedback I got after my last round of comments, I think it is important to bring the community together. I think we accomplish that, but we avoid all of the other concerns. And so I'm proud to present that proposal today. Again, I would, like Commissioner McFeeder said, please stick around if you're interested. I'm happy to print out copies of that proposal. And I appreciate the feedback, and I want folks to know, like, we do have the ability to change our minds at times. And I've come around. I think prayer is important, and I'm proud to present that policy later in the work session. Thank you.
Thank you. I change my mind all the time. I think that correction, that quarterly Pueblo Means Business Advisory meeting is at the GSC building, which is the old Wells Fargo building. So there you go. Thank you, commissioners. Our next meeting will be March 11th. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, we're adjourned.